Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how I got into medical school. The best tip that I can give is to apply early. So my second year of post-bacc, by September, I received a personal inventory from the Premedical committee. And basically this inventory asks a series of questions so that you can get acquainted with answering them and then sending them to the professors that you want to write your letter of recommendation. And also it helps you kind of prep for writing a personal statement because these questions make you think about why you want to pursue medicine in the first place. I think that the deadline for that personal inventory was January, and I also around September thought about who I was going to ask to write my letter of recommendations. And because I was in a post-bacc program, I was required to have 6 to 7 letters of recommendations. Some of these professors who wrote my medical school letter of rec actually wrote my grad school letter of rec, and so they saw my academic journey, so it's like they're part of it as well, you know, and they're part of the success because they saw how successful I was in grad school. I'm so grateful for them to show me this love and reinforcement and positivity and then write me a letter of recommendation. So I believe that if you have great relationships with these mentors, your letter of recommendation, the quality of it will be much better. I told them that the latest that they can send these letter recommendations to the pre-medical committee would be in April, and I gave them ample time, and they really loved that because, you know, they're really busy people. So by April, all of my letters were in, and the pre-medical committee could start writing the composite letter. July 1st, I believe, was the first day that applications were accepted. So I had all of my material in, my MCAT scores were reported, all of my classes, the transcripts were in, and my personal statement was in. But let's kind of backtrack a little bit. So after the spring semester was over, it was like around May, I worked on this personal statement for about a month, and I sent this personal statement to a lot of my colleagues and professors so that they can edit and then send it back to me. I also worked on the secondaries. My friend, who is in medical school now, told me to look on Student Doctor Network and to look at previous secondaries from prior years because they most likely will remain the same year to year. Well, recent ones will. And so I did that. I looked at all the secondaries from all the schools that I applied to, and I finished all the questions. So by July 1st, I had my personal statement in. I was completed with most of my secondaries, and then by August, I received secondaries from the schools I applied to. And then a rule of thumb is to return these secondaries within a week of receiving them. But for some of the schools, I just returned them within a day because I already worked on them. And some of the schools, you know, they had slightly different secondaries from the ones that I prepped for, but it was okay because some of the answers that I wrote for some schools actually answered some of the questions for other schools. And you know, you could just edit them and make small minor adjustments to the questions, which was amazing. Also, I applied for the fee assistance program, also known as FAP. They send you materials to prepare for the MCAT, books and online resources. They give fee reductions for MCAT tests. They also waive up to 13 schools that you apply to, I believe. I think it was 13 or 15, something like that. And then they also waive secondaries. So out of I think I only had to pay like a little bit more than $300 to apply to a total of 24 schools this cycle. And then for secondaries, I was so relieved because I didn't have to pay for any of them. One of the schools I applied to didn't have secondary waivers with the FAP, so I ended up withdrawing from that school because, you know, it's costly it accumulates to apply to medical school. And then, you know, I received 7 interview invitations. I went on 5. I deferred 2 after I received my acceptance to medical school, which, by the way, was Frank Netter School of Medicine at Quinnipiac. And then yeah, so it cost like around $200 for each interview, you know, commuting and eating expenses, as well as like, you know, getting a hotel room for a night. So if you multiply that by 5, that's already $1,000. So it can be really expensive. And so budgeting is very, 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 very important, and that is what I will talk about in my next video. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but I don't know if you guys want me to make videos on interviewing, but I can totally do that too. But yeah, that's it. That's basically what I did. I thought about applying to medical school really early. I thought about who I was going to ask to write my letter of recommendations, completed things super early, like the personal inventory, sent it to the professors that I wanted to write my letter of recommendation, asked them to send in their letters by April, and then worked on the personal statement and the secondaries for a month, and then secondaries for like maybe a couple weeks after I sent in the primary application. And then after that, returned the secondaries within a week, and then received my first interview invitations in August, and then I went on my first interview in early September. Like, I'm forgetting the date, but like the first week of September I went on an interview, and then I received a acceptance on November 10th. So a lot of things happen very, very quickly, and it's best to think about them as soon as possible so that you can prepare. And I think that's the best tip that I can give to anyone. Also, I just want to say thank you again for everyone who has supported me. I feel like I'm doing something right. I feel like, you know, making these videos are awesome because I know that a lot of you guys say I empower you because I am myself, I can be me, and like still be academically successful. And I am very grateful for all the love and support that you've given me. I appreciate it a lot. It just feels so good to actually have something to show, you know, because I can say, yeah, be you and be true to yourself, but like have nothing to show for it. And I'm grateful. Like, you know, I completed my grad school education in Ivy League school, and now I'm going to medical school. So with this being said, because I got accepted here, it does not necessarily mean I'm committing to the school. I just want you guys to know that the interview process ends by, I think, March the latest. So, you know, there's a couple months left, and if I don't get accepted anywhere else, at least I know I'm going somewhere. I'm going to medical school. So yeah, thank you so much. I think that's all I have to say today. Next video will be on budgeting. If you guys want a video on interviewing tips, I can totally do that. Thank you very, very much for watching my video, and I hope that you learned something from me today. I hope my advice helps you all with your process, or helps you tell someone who's going through this process as well. Thank you so much.